Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this special edition of the Viking Academy podcast. Now, today we are doing what's called Odin's Roundtable. That's right, Odin's Roundtable. I have brought in 3 master healers to do a roundtable discussion about what's going on in the world, why we're seeing everything so fucked up the way it is, and the reasons for that and what you can do to break yourself free from it. Now, these are 3 people that if you've watched or listened to the podcast, you will know who they are. One is Denise Grams, there's Niki Hughes, and there's Tammi Grantham. We go deep into what I just talked about, like in terms of what's going on in the world, what you can do to change it for yourself, what the common mental and, shall we call it, emotional blockers people have, and what you can actually do to remove those for yourself. We talked about what the world really needs is a shared vision, but it all starts with you, the individual, which is very much in alignment with the Viking Academy ethos. It's about taking responsibility for yourself and charging forward. I am going to re-listen to this podcast over and over again. I think we're going to do this a lot more in the future. I'm calling it Odin's Roundtable because we're bringing together these top thinkers, these top healers in the world, and you should see the dynamic that happens between the 3 of them. They start sharing and feeding off each other, and there's a ton of ahas in this episode. So again, then the last thing I'll also mention is that at the end, I actually included questions directly from Viking Academy members. So if you're not a member of the Viking Academy, go onto the website, vikingacademy.com, join the membership. It's absolutely free. And you could be part of this as well. So we got some Viking Academy members got to ask their specific questions. And if you are those few that did those questions, you send them in to me. I ask them, and the answer for you specifically will be on this podcast. So there you go. Without further ado, let's go explore. Welcome to Odin's Roundtable.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Okay, this will be interesting. This is the first time we've done a podcast with 4 people on. I've done the trifecta with Stell and Chad. We did 3 of us, but this is now 4 of us. So this is going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited about this. Tammi, you mentioned something just at the beginning or at the end there. What did you say? It's a something, and it'll be interesting how it happens. Can you explain that?
Well, it's the eclipse season. We just had an eclipse yesterday, and and I'm sure Denise would know a lot about that too. And so this is a shake-up month. It's really so earlier when you were explaining the things that were going on, well, that's the eclipse. That's how it works.
Oh, right. So I was explaining to everyone as we were in the backstage, they're ready to come on to the recording, that it seemed to be a complete shit show at my house. Like literally, my daughter's sick at home. The movers are finally moving our stuff back in downstairs. We've had a 3.5-month remediation on the home. So the stuff's getting moved back in. That's exciting. But then there's movers making noise downstairs. And then to top it off, my aging dog, Rocky, is literally shitting all over the house, like with diarrhea. And I'm like running around, putting a diaper on him and trying to clean this thing up and get on time for the Odin's Roundtable. So case in point, yes, it's definitely eclipse. Okay, so welcome to the first Odin's Roundtable. So what I'd like to do is I've done individual podcasts with each one of you. And so everybody knows if they've done that, they know some deep dives on each individual what you do, but I wouldn't mind just doing a quick little roundtable. Get it? I just how I did that there. We're going to do a quick roundtable to share who you are, what you do, and then I'm going to get into some curated questions, and eventually we're going to get to some Viking Academy Q&As, which the Viking Academy members, if you're not a member, join. It's free. They've put in some of their questions that are going to be able to get to ask you directly on the healing. So Niki, why don't you fire away and get us
started? Sure. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having me on too. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a whole new adventure. So thanks for having me. I am Niki, and I am a hypnotherapist, and I've been doing that for about, 14, 15 years now, and started off with energy work, and it just, I'm a real lover of learning, and so I just keep adding things, right? So hypnotherapist, meditation teacher, mindfulness teacher. author, and podcaster too. I have my own podcast. So one of the things that I do that's one of my specialties, though, is I work in the spiritual space. So I do current life work, but I also do past life work. So going back and clearing up whatever's blocking people to make this life feel so much better. And I also do spiritual regression work, which we've gone through together, going out into the spirit realms to really understand who you are from a spiritual consciousness perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, and if I didn't mention it at the beginning, which I'm pretty sure I didn't, for everyone who's listening or watching the podcast here, these are all my healers. So I do work on a regular basis with all of them, and what Niki was referring to is we actually did a podcast together where we went into a deep dive on my past life regressions, and it was awesome. So go back and check out those podcasts to hear what we were just talking about there. Denise, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, well, I've been working in energy work for, I guess, 35 years now, and I was just, it was interesting. I was thinking the other day, I should have a look and see what I've been doing for 35 years, and I wrote down, I like 10 or 12, modalities that I've studied, and all of that. So I've been at this for a while. The energy work that I do, I do call it body talk, and a big piece of it is body talk. But I have fused everything that I've learned in the last 35 years into one. I have to find another kind of a name for it, for what I do.
Well,
So the energy work is, I'm working mostly remotely now since COVID, because of course nobody could come in. And so I had been working remotely quite a bit, but now I'm doing it all the time. And so what I'm doing is I'm working basically with a person's field. We're connected in that way through quantum physics. Of course, we know that that's an easy piece. And the work that I do is looking for unresolved trauma, and that can be past lives, it can be present time. Sometimes my work takes me into the future for future progression for people. But what we know is, the issues are, as we say, the issues are in the tissues. And so it's my job to work with the unresolved trauma and break through and find out whatever information we can for people. Often it's timing, has a lot to do with timing, and it has a lot to do with childhood trauma, unresolved childhood trauma. And we know there's been a lot of that for most people. And so to resolve the trauma through, clearings, corrections, balances, all those kinds of things, and bring people forward so that they can, live a higher vibration, because basically this is what every one of us wants. We say we want to be happy or content or have peace, but basically we're talking about living in a higher vibration so that we can carry on and do the work that we're supposed to be doing. Like we all have a mission in this life.
And now, if the listener, especially for those in the Viking Academy, can you understand now why I've had these healers on the podcast? Is because they're right in alignment with my ethos on the Viking Academy. And again, we've done through a lot of cleaning in past life or past traumas in current and past lives with me and Denise, and it's been incredible, incredible amount of work there done. And so let's move on to Tammi. Let's get your intro, and then I want to jump into the juicy stuff.
Well, I consider myself a multidimensional healer on many levels. So again, astrology, love it. Medical intuitive. Since I was little, I've seen people who have passed, and so I took a lot of different modalities to kind of see what really works for me. I can dabble into the past and present timelines, assist people with their next step. I'm not really worried about the outcome, but just kind of like where you need to be, bring them back to the present moment. And I work with kind of understanding patterns and showing people that, the repetitive patterns and where they came from, and going back and taking a look at that so people can move forward. So I've been doing this for well, on and off 30 years. And so you just kind of find things and then you keep adding to your toolbox. And so part of my goal is to give people tools to be able to move forward and assist them instead of being stuck. So
I love that. I remember when we were on the podcast, and we've talked about this before, Tammi, is that yours is like a flashlight in the fog and you're going, there's the next step. It's kind of, there's the next one in front of you, because we can't really see what's happening, but you help us get to that next step. That's next step in our vibrational leveling up, as you said, Denise. And then, yeah, again, I endorse all these messages, everyone, by the way, because I mean, that's why I'm having everybody on here. Okay. So let's go into this. I'm very curious, and please feel free to kind of weave in and out and put in your 2 bits and your thoughts. And because the idea here is I want to make this a very collaborative process. I wanted to see what would happen when I bring these 3 amazing healers together, and the energy and the intentionality to see what comes out of this. And I'm very interested in exploring that. But one of the things that I was very curious on for all of you to kind of comment on is, what have you seen lately with all the people that you're working with and your healings that you're doing with them, and maybe for yourself as well? But what have you seen in terms of patterns that has been emerging in the last little while?
Well, I can comment on that if that's okay for me to just jump in. Trauma. Oh my goodness. The old stuff is coming up.
Yeah.
So all the stuff that's been suppressed, pushed down, even the stuff that people think that they've cleared, it's like, oh my goodness, it's back, because healing is circular, right? So the universe takes you back in to just see if it's really gone, right? And so that little bit comes back up. And yeah, that even for me, like I do a lot of my own work and see a lot of different healers too.
Yeah.
But I've found too that the stuff that I thought was gone, it's like, wow, where did that come from the other day? It's like, oh, that comes from, my past. I guess I better go back in there and do some work. So as healers, we're not immune to it ourselves, right? We're humans too. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of old stuff come up. I'm seeing a lot of people come to me to talk about their patterns and get rid of their patterns. A lot of stress right now in the system, and a lot of physical challenges too. Like there's a lot of physical challenges that seem to be coming up for a lot of people. Digestive issues, and that's the root chakra, right? That's all about safety. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of that.
That's curious, because actually so again, the house remediation, the fix, we had the plumber in here fixing one of the faucets, and he was talking to me about the fact that he stopped drinking caffeine as well, because he said it was upsetting his stomach. And I was like, yeah, I quit that 13 years ago. And he's like, yeah, no, I've gotten rid of it. I feel so much better. We had a couple movers here, and they were like, we asked them, oh, would you like a coffee? And they said, actually, can we have a green tea? Like the movers came in and they want the green tea because they were just like antioxidants. And so there seems to be that.
Well, right now we're building our light bodies. So we're taking in more light.
Yeah.
And so we don't have as much physical density, like we're shifting out of that. And so we are needing to eat lighter. We're needing to eat differently. We're needing to eat more high frequency. And so we're starting to see that. And it's happening for a lot of people intuitively. And it's happening for a lot of people because of physical stuff happening. It's like you have to address it, right?
Okay, so those who are not watching the video and you're listening to the audio, I'm watching Denise and Tammi like bobblehead dolls, and they're just nodding up and down. Okay, I want one of you to please, Tammi, throw your thoughts in on this, because you're both just, it's funny, you're bobblehead dolling and go, yep.
100%. It really is getting to the layers, right? We're layers. And as soon as you think you've done it, the universe sits there and says, no, like this. And so all this physical pain we're feeling too is a lot of emotions that got stuck in our body that is now coming to the surface because we can't hold on to it anymore. And those who won't, like who can't let it go, will not level up. It's an energy thing that our bodies now need to be lighter. And even my spirits are like, get on that treadmill, girl. You got to move your body, you know? And I'm like, but I'm comfortable. They're like, you still got to move the energy, right? It's the old stuck patterns, trauma. So yeah, we're seeing probably a lot of the same thing over and over again, is what I see.
And this is what I love about all of you is that you're not only healing others, but you're healing yourself at the same time. It's like when I'm working with people as a coach, it's like, look, I'm a coach, business coach, and I do, mindset coaching and that. And I haven't gone into the spiritual realm yet, but yeah, I know you're all looking at me going, when are you going to do that, Eric? I know. We're getting there. We're getting there. But I say, if you have a coach who doesn't have a coach, you need a new coach. That's what I love about all of you. It's like, if you have a healer who doesn't have a healer, or is not healing themselves, who are not growing, then you need to find someone new, right? Because it's this. So here's my question: is this an exciting time, Denise, for you to see this happening, or is it like we're hearing this, all these traumas, these negative things, but underlying that, isn't there something exciting about this?
It's, it's what they call an evolutionary time. We are in the peak of a blow up, basically. It's like, I was thinking this morning, it's kind of like putting a bunch of chunks of food in a blender. When you turn that blender on, it goes, it just has a hard time, and then it levels out. Well, we're in the hard times. We are definitely in the hard times. I think we've got another couple of years to go. And those are the times that we're in, and building up to this time. Everything is cycles. We operate, we live in cycles. Everything, the planets move in cycles, and we are in a cycle right now that is actually going to be, I think it's going to take us through. A lot of people aren't thinking that right now, so there's a lot of fear on the planet. And there's and when we talk about, resolving the trauma, like either through past lives or whatever, however we work, this trauma, it goes back hundreds of years. If we look at our planet, it's been a mess for a long time. But people we don't ever remember a time. We don't have any recorded history of time where everything was just lovely. It wasn't. So humanity we're growing, we're evolving, and that's true. We're taking on a new body and a life body, and we have to really work with that because there's so much heaviness. So the imprints are so deep, and that's why people say, I've already worked with that, I don't want to deal with that. And then that's one of the first things that'll come up, because it's a cycle. Everything is a cycle, goes around again and around again. So it is an evolutionary time. And I think one of the things that we have to absolutely remember is that this is a time to open our hearts. This is the time for kindness, for compassion, for everybody, people that just drive us crazy. It doesn't matter, like, do your best to open your heart, because that's the thing that will help people. There isn't anything else. Like when they say there's only love, really, and love manifests in a million ways. And that's what we have to do.
No, that's it. And so one of the things that Tammy's mentioned this to me many times. She talks about the conditioning that the human, removing the conditioning.
Yeah.
And something just hit me the other day is the programming. For some reason, that word just came back into my head, and it just seems to land more of a modern way of talking about it. It's like, how is my programming serving me today? Because I look at how I'm programmed to see the world, and instantly when I start seeing other people as they are programmed to behave the way they do, instantly I have empathy, and instantly I actually forgive them for doing whatever they're doing, because they're programmed to do that.
Yeah.
And there's that kind of that opening of the understanding, right? Yeah. That understanding that's opening up. Yeah. It's a lot lighter. And so one of the things that you came out of this is, like, I think about, there's two ways of looking at this. One is it's the best of times, it's the worst of times, right? So there's you can look at the positive side, or you can look at the negative side. And so one of the things that, I can't remember who said that, is that what happens for those who cannot let go of this and hold on, I want to talk about that just briefly. Just say, well, what happens to someone who doesn't want to level up and keeps holding on to the old energy and connects themselves down? And then I also want to talk about what's the upside? What happens when we do let go and go that? So let's just talk about so we call it the worst of times briefly, because I'm not a fan of going there. I don't like putting my mindset there, but just for a brief second, let's talk about it. And then I want to spend more time on what's the possibilities for us as a human race? Like where could we actually go? So what happens to those who don't want to get better? Or when all of a sudden for myself, I go, nope, don't want to fix that. Don't want to touch it.
I can make a comment there, if that's okay.
Please go. Yes.
Okay. You know, I don't think they don't want to. I think there's just fear, a fear of working through, of feeling the pain of, there's fear, just put it that way. And what that does, fear contracts. And so then we're talking about density in the physical body, because that's where everything ends up. Everything ends up in the physical body. And we're talking about digestive problems. Well, everything goes through the gut. If we're clearing, everything has to go through the gut, right? So density happens. And people can live long lives in a dense situation. Lots of people do. It's just the way they do it. And they've got a right to do their life that way. So we have to just leave them alone to themselves and, support them when they want support and leave it alone.
It's like attraction rather than promotion. The idea
Absolutely.
that, you get like it's one of the questions that came up that I wasn't even going to ask it, but now it's spurred me to want to actually ask the question or to comment on it, is like, how do you help someone who doesn't want to get well? And I'm like, well, you just don't, because you can't force them, right? Like if they're not interested in, it's either attraction rather than promotion on this. But so in other words, you're saying that if someone's stuck in there, they can live the rest of their lives. It's not like they're going to die quickly, like, because that's our ultimate fear is death. It's not like if you decide to not level up, it's not like your life will end quicker. It is just, you can live a long life being in that low energy vibration, and you're just going to suffer through it. Is that the Niki, I see you nodding.
Yeah. And I think along with that is when we talk in terms of frequency and us leveling up, you're going to find more of those people in your life that are in that state falling away because you just don't resonate with them. And I think that's where some of the split comes from, where they say, oh yeah, there's going to people who are in a lower frequency aren't coming with us. It's like, well, they're still going to be here. They're just probably not going to be in your life, right? We're not creating a new planet as far as I know, but they're just not going to be in your life anymore. And that's something else that I've noticed over the past few months is there's a lot of relationships that are splitting.
Yes.
And I think and I believe that's because of the frequency shifts. So people who are not willing to budge, not willing to change, they just don't resonate with each other on a frequency level. So they can't be around each other anymore. Right. So they'll be living their life in a lower frequency way, and you will be living your life in a higher frequency way, attracting higher frequency people to you, improving the quality of your life.
Did you see what just happened there? I talked about the negative, and I'd like to focus on the positive. And the negative you talked about actually shifted into the positive, which is the people aren't going to go away. If you want to stay in the lower vibration, it's a choice, be it subconscious or conscious. But you'll still be here, but you're not maybe going to experience the best life you possibly can, or what's calling in your soul to elevate or level up or become lighter and more free to be yourself. I mean, that Tammi, you and I've gone over this multiple times. For me, that's my whole ethos, is like, I'm just constantly looking things to get them out of the way, to break me free so I can creatively express myself. The Viking Academy is one of those things, and we did a lot of work on that. For people who want to stay stuck, maybe the thing that is more of attraction rather than promotion is going, if you do start facing these fears and working and doing some healing work with you three lovely healers, you can get some breakthroughs and start living that life that you actually want for yourself.
Exactly. And it's, then we go right back to that conditioning. So again, there will be people who leave the planet, and we know that. with the frequency as it does. But again, there's others that will stay in that frequency. I don't feel our planet wants to suffer anymore though. So our frequencies go up, right? We're not going to see them as much because we're going to be in a different frequency. So it's not like they just all die off, like we were saying. It's just that the frequency, the higher our frequency, we see what we need to see to do our service here in this world.
So when you say they leave or they're not here, are they here or are they not here? I'm kind
Some
of,
people will leave this planet.
and when you
I
say
can-
that, what does
yeah,
that mean?
like they will pass on. I
Okay.
do see that. I really, as a psychic medium, I see a lot of them not wanting to stay here anymore. They've done their mission. They're ready to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's the other ones that, again, due to fear, they're kind of in that stuck. They haven't found their healer. They haven't found their way yet, or they're still stuck in a pattern. And eventually they'll find their way or they won't. And that's okay. They'll stay in the frequency they need to. It's like when we stay in a habit, right? For a long time. And it's like, I know I need to do better, but I can't get out of that habit. So then I ask that universe, start bringing my people to help me get out of that. Right. And then they show up.
So when we're talking about the person, they're going to leave the planet or they finally die, and does that mean they die and they're not going to come back here again? Is that what we're talking about? Like recycling and trying to, because all the work that I've done with a lot of you has been, here's my past life. Here's what I went through there. This is my next spin. And my understanding is, and I can't remember which one of you told me, if not all of you, is that this is my last spin here and on this
Mine
planet.
too.
My
Mine
last
too.
spin. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my last spin on this planet, but this doesn't mean that I don't end. I'm going to just continue
no,
on
no.
somewhere else, right? So we're talking about this reincarnation into a life again on this planet, as opposed to reincarnation and going to another realm or dimension or another planet.
Absolutely. I'd like to make a comment about this, to go back to, people that don't want to change or whatever. I really think that those imprints or those attitudes or beliefs are all fear-based. And the one thing that we can do as people, as we raise our vibration ourselves, is we can show those people kindness. And it's true that we'll find ourselves separating from those people. Of course we will. And I just think they need kindness because their trauma is so deep. And this lifetime may not give them maybe the opportunities or enough courage to actually work through much of anything. So it isn't so much that they don't want to change. It's just that they can't, they don't understand. They don't get it. They live in this place that is very, I just lost the word, but it's just so tight.
It's
that
heavy.
They don't have the freedom.
constrained.
They don't understand. Freedom would be very frightening to them. So
I agree, Denise. And I also think that they're not aware. A lot of
not aware, no, of course.
people who are waking up now and becoming
Yeah.
more consciously aware
Yes.
of themselves as
Yeah.
spirits, consciousness beyond the
Yes.
human body. I'm seeing that the folks who are stuck in it's almost like a victim mentality and
Yes.
all of that stuff. That's fear. But
Yeah.
they haven't woken up to the fact that they're responsible for what's happening,
That's
like
right.
they're
That's right.
responsible for what's being created here. And that's a hard message for a lot of people.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
why the heck would I create all of that? So
I agree.
You're telling me all this shit is my fault?
yes.
Yep.
WTF?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if I was to extract the simple message on this, is that every single human being on the planet yearns for freedom from this three-dimensional heavy space, whether be it conscious or subconscious or unconscious. Some are consciously aware of the fact they want to break free, like me. I want out. but not out, but I want up and through. Like I'm looking to, I've always been like that since I was a kid. I always just like, "Rah, let's have fun. Like let's live, right? Large. A lot of the things that are blocking me are completely unconscious. And I know that. That's why I'm doing this work with you. But then there's others that they're in there and they're not even consciously aware that they want to actually elevate or they want to free themselves from this three-dimensional heavy space. And so there's that victim mentality where it's like it's happening to me and I have no way out. But there's still something yearning inside. If there wasn't a yearning inside, they wouldn't care, would they? Would we? Like, there's a good question. Like, if we didn't have that internal kind of homing beacon in us trying to take us home, so to speak, would we even care if we were suffering? There's a thought.
Good point. So lacking the desire. Desire is something that we want. So if we lack the desire, we're just going to put one foot in front of the other and get through the day and get through the week and get through the years and get through my life.
Yeah.
I'll just get out of here. So it's desire, and desire is based on, I know there's more. I mean, desire is based on awareness that there's more. Somewhere. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to call it, but it's there.
Yeah, it's like it's hope.
Yeah.
Hope for something more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but sometimes the pain is so big they can't
Yes.
feel that little beacon of light. They haven't had the opportunity to get the light sparked.
Right.
Right? They're so deep in their stuff. They haven't had that opportunity. So then it may happen in this life or it may happen in another one.
Yep.
This rings so much of Alcoholics Anonymous.
I
Like
was
this
just
is just, I would just think, I'm sitting here going, this is what we were doing. Like literally on the weekend, I was talking to there was some newcomers there, like 3 days sober, 10 days sober. And I'm sharing with them and I'm just sharing my experience, strength and hope. So then they can actually go, oh, there's actually hope out there. So the work that we're all doing here right now for me is also to get that message out that there is that hope, but people don't even really know it's there. Have you, Tammi, have you ever worked with someone where they came in and they didn't even know, they couldn't consciously express what they wanted, but working with you, and I want to share that question with all three of you actually, that they all of a sudden had this, oh yes, that's what I've been looking for. I've been looking for that hope, and they have that aha moment.
And to me, then that goes back to the patterns. Once we start to work through some of the things that they can see where it lies in themselves and where it came from, and then they can take ownership and go, okay, I didn't even know that was possible, right? Because they're stuck in a pattern, and the patterns can go like 7 generations back, right? Right. So it's one of those things that, we're here to eventually master this human experience. So we come back and we keep doing it. So when people have that aha moment, it's like, for me, a code just dropped in, it got activated. I'm like, yes, they can now see a little bit of light shined, right? And now that's the hope that they're just like that, like a puzzle. Think of a puzzle. Somebody hands you that piece that you've been looking for weeks, and it's just like, there it is. And then the whole perspective changes.
Does that give you, and for each one of you, when you're working with someone and you see them have that aha moment, is that dopamine? I don't know if that's the right terminology, and you can correct me on this one, but it's that dopamine hit that we get, and that little rush of excitement when I see someone else get something. When I work with someone coaching wise and they get it and they see the spark in their eyes, and I'm like, oh, and I get excited from that. That feeds me. Does that feed all of you in your healing when you're working with others?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, I don't know about you, Niki or Tammi, but it's kind of like, every session that I do, I'm going into the unknown. I don't know what's there. And it comes to me and I test and it says yes or no or whatever. But it's like it's kind of like a spiritual Easter egg hunt. This is what it is. You're just looking, or some people, I don't know. It's just wonderful. And then you hit pay dirt, and it's such a lovely thing. It's such a lovely thing. I don't know. It's such a beautiful way to live your life, to be able to do this work. It's such a privilege, I think. It's an absolute privilege.
And you know, it's true, Denise. I'm the same where with me, I use hypnosis. So people are kind
Ah,
of under in their trance state, they're
yes.
moving through their stuff.
Yeah,
They come up, they're kind of still tranced out. I don't get a lot of feedback, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they're in their, they're still in their
yeah,
woohoo happy state.
yeah.
But I always know in my own heart whether I hit
Mm.
that sweet spot,
Yes, yes.
and I can feel it and go, oh, great, that's why I'm doing this work. Thank you for that.
Yes,
Because
yes,
once
yes.
again, I'm back on the motivation path, right?
Exactly.
But yes, that's why we're here. We're
Yeah,
here to ignite that in the person.
yeah,
And when you can do that,
yeah,
it's really rewarding.
yeah, yeah.
And I agree with that because I feel it in the heart. Not the rush so much, but it's like this, another piece of the heart just opened up and
Right.
they got to see it, right? So that's where the energy is felt for me as well.
Yeah.
And does that become a code to get back to your verbiage that you used, Tammi? Does that become a code that you needed as well? Because the person, it's like a full-on collaboration between you and the person. So you're the healer and the person is the healee, but you're actually in a collaboration because when they have an aha and it's the code that you actually needed for yourself, do you recognize that in yourself, or do you have these aha moments inside yourself when you're working with someone else?
I look at everybody as me. So everybody who comes to me is a version of me, and it could be a past me, present me, or higher me. So everybody's teaching and healing. We're healing each other. That's the whole point to this planet. So you come in with these codes that I was like, oh yeah, you lit them up for me as well because you're a higher or a present or a past version of myself where I still needed healing. Right. So then we bring it into the present moment and then we activate the code.
I love that, Tammi, because that's so relevant for me as well. People will show up and I'm like, why are we talking about the thing that I'm dealing with? You know, and it's because it's that mirror. I look at it as the mirror. So it is me sitting across, but there's always something that I get from my clients and the work that we do together that's very healing for me as well. You probably find the same thing, right, Denise?
Absolutely, I do, and it's so interesting because as you know, I'm an astrologer as well, and I'll often, they'll want me to look at their chart at some point or something, and the charts are always kind of like there's like, if you've ever done family work, there's all of this going on with the planets are all overlapping and conjuncting and everything, and it's the same with my clients, and it's true. Somebody will come in with a pain in their whatever, and I'll say, oh, all right, well. We've got that. And it's so interesting because you just attract, we're in this work and we attract what we need and they're attracted to what they need. And so that person will stay, a long time to work it through, I think.
What are some of the common mental or emotional blocks that you've seen lately with people, and how do you help them through that? Like, especially right now, what's going on in the world, which it's funny because I've been doing a podcast and I've been in business for a long time and I see this, and every single week it seems to be like, oh man, this is crazy times. This is crazy. And it seems to be getting nuttier by the minute. Like it's getting more chaotic by the minute. And I've spoken with all three of you about this. And even years ago, I'm talking to you and it's like, man, it's crazy. Everything's getting crazy and it's getting crazier and crazier. So what are you finding, again, just to reiterate the question again, what are the common mental and emotional blocks that you've seen? And then how do you help people break through that? Just for the listener, in case they're having these same kind of mental and emotional blocks.
Well, it's kind of a hard question really, but as Niki, as you said, there's a lot of relationship issues. Lots and lots of relationship issues with lots and lots of people, not just your partner, but all kinds of people. There's that, but there's a lot of physical issues as well. And we know that I'm going to go back and say everything hits the physical body. And so people come in with aches and pains here and there. And I think that's the thing that people will relate to. They think I've got a pain in my stomach or whatever, and they'll come in because nobody's been able to figure it out, or they don't want to go to a doctor or whatever. And that's, I mean, but that's common really through all the years that I've been practicing. I don't know. How about you, Tammi? What?
Resistance. There's a lot of resistance I'm getting, and because I have resistance in my own stuff. And then there's fear. I've been doing a lot of medical intuitive stuff, and people are like, I'm having this issue, and I'm like, okay, well, it's on the right side. Let's look at your father line. Let's look at the public line. And oh, it's on the left. It's, let's look at the mother line. And so then they start to go, oh, and to me, people get so caught up on an outcome. They want an outcome. And this is the part, we already create the outcome. We make it happen. So that's not important to me. So let's deal with what's happening now. I always say, if you got digestive issues, you're in your head, right? You're in your head a lot because your head and your digestion go hand in hand. So I agree with you with the relationships people aren't wanting to stay or put up with because they're shifting. And they're not wanting to stay in a pattern. I want to say in a pattern that was comfortable, because now we need to get uncomfortable and grow. So there's a lot people, I'm finding a lot of people who want to push through that fear, and fear and excitement are the same feeling. They both have that adrenaline, and I'm just going, as soon as it's super loud, you're so close. Keep going, right? But that's what I find, a lot of physical, like you said, and a lot of just like, or I don't know how. Get rid of how. Okay, don't worry about how. Let's go more on why. Why is this happening?
That's a big problem, especially for me. I'm a big how guy, right? Like it's like, how do we do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? And especially the things that we're talking about here are all the things that are advertised to everyone. Get this incredible outcome, and here's how you do it, and here's an incredible outcome, and here's how you do it. And you're just telling them to like get rid of both of those thoughts and just go deal with the present moment and deal with the why.
Yeah. So why do you want it? What's your drive? The outcome you can get, you already know that because you've already visioned the outcome. So it's not about how we get there. It's about why do you want to get there? What do you get from getting there?
And is that where we're, shall we call it, rudderless right now? Because our why has become like almost like when we had a united why, we could actually move mountains. Humans have done this for millennia. It was like, as soon as we have a compelling why, we'll build the pyramids. A compelling why, we'll build these amazing structures, or we'll create these things called countries. And we'll, like, if we have this incredible why, but the why seems to be fragmented, and it's getting more polarized and all the rest of it. I think I've told all three of you, I think one of the things for me, I think the only thing that's going to save the human race is that the aliens have to come down here so we have a new common enemy, so we could all rally around our new why. And then just, you know what I mean, at that ground level. But is that what's going on here? Is that we've lost our why, or we've lost in touch with our own why? And is there a cosmic why behind all this? And that may have been a lot to kind of digest in one question.
Well, for me, how is fear and doubt, right? So as soon as I got a how going on, how do I have to do that? My mind goes, oh, I got to do this, and I got to figure out every little thing. And we're here, what we think we're here is to find solutions to everything. But if we know why, then we can bring desire in. We can go, okay, this is why we want to bring it forward. And then we can bring the courage to bring other people in. But as soon as I say, how am I going to do it? My mind goes into 1,000 different ways of how I'm not going to do it. Because it's too hard, or it's too this, right?
Yeah, my coach, on the business side, is Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, who is the world's greatest philosopher. He comes up with the world's greatest philosophies wrapped in a business blanket. Nobody quite understands that all his teachings are actually quite spiritual and transcend all these different things, but he's just wrapped it in a business blanket. When he's talking about, you come up with a thing that you want to do, he said, don't think about how, think about who you need to find that will help you collaborate to make it happen. And that's where the joy and the desire comes in, is because you go, oh, this is this great thing. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Okay, who am I going to find to come and help work with me on this? Because it becomes an us thing, and
Yes.
and you're not thinking about all the hows. And you see, I'm really bad on the how stuff. Like I get so bogged into the how, but how you reframed it as how is fear and doubt is beautiful.
So I've got a comment on that too, because you almost just said it. I was waiting for you to just say it. We don't have a shared vision.
Yeah.
Right. And you need that in a business. We know that in business. If you don't have a shared a vision that people can buy into and see themselves and feel themselves in, you're not going to move anybody. Right. And we don't really have that at the leadership level in our countries. And what they're creating is divided energy. And so there's no common vision of where we're going or what we're doing. It's focused on a common enemy, which isn't a good way to go, right? So they need to, in my opinion, it's Niki's Book of Beliefs, to shift to some kind of vision that people can actually see themselves in, right?
Yeah.
And is this where we're going when we're talking about elevating and we'll start attracting the right people? Like, look at these beautiful people I've attracted into my world. The three of you, I love you so much because there's that shared vision of a higher vibration and a more joyous way of living. That becomes a shared vision. Do you all see kind of a more concrete shared vision, or is it more of a individual vision that just connects with everybody else's vision and becomes a united vision? Do you know?
Can I comment on that for just a
Please,
sec?
please
Because I
do.
think that you have to have your individual vision first. You have to understand who you are, what you want, and that's something that people don't know very well is what you want. What do they want? They'll tell you a million things they don't want, but how about what you want? And that comes back to desire, right? And it comes back to Tammi, your comments too about the not the how, but however you said it beautifully.
Why? The why,
The
right?
why, the why,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what allows us to dream and to create the dream of what we want. And I think people get so stuck in the hamster wheel and the fear, they don't even have a chance to think about what do I want for myself, or they don't feel like they're allowed to do that for themselves. And this is back to programming again. And that's what I see a lot of with the hypnosis work that I do is through the trauma, finding those beliefs, those programs that were set up when they were children that are continually running that just knock them out at the knees. You know, if you feel like you're not lovable because you went through lots of terrible things with your parents, you're going to take that into everything you do until you stop and look at it and realize, oh, that's not me. I would like to do that differently now, right? And it's a choice. It's an awareness and it's a choice. So, sorry, that was a bit of a long answer there.
Well, good.
So I think individual vision and allowing people understanding what you want, where you want to go, and then you see how your values line up with the different collectives, whether it's where you live, whether it's family, where you live, whether it's the country you live in. It's how do my values about and what I want, how does that line up?
That comes back to take responsibility for yourself first. Like
Love
be
that.
responsible for yourself first, as opposed to looking to governments or organizations or institutions, or shall we even call it spiritual gurus, to tell you what the way is, as opposed to going, it's not so much my responsibility. Responsibility is a bit of a heavy word, but I call it, it's my gift I was given, is the power of choice to create and think about a bigger why for myself so then it becomes it's the gift that I was given, and I can either utilize it or I can throw it away and just let the programming run me, so to speak. But so you get that individual vision and why first, and then go, who is coming with me on that trip? It's much more energizing because for me, like anybody tells me what to do, I just won't do it out of principle because I'm just a stubborn Viking, right? Like, I mean, God, it's not going to happen. But that freedom, I love that, what you said there, Niki, that's that individual choice to say, what is it? What is my why? And I'm still finding it. Like I'm still finding it and uncovering it, and the layers and the work that I do with all three of you just keeps kind of peeling another layer, another block out of the way, another potential opportunity or hope that I didn't even know existed.
So
Like-
I heard one thing. I'm just going to throw that in, and then I'm going to stop talking for a bit. I was listening to a podcast with Thomas Campbell, quantum physicist, and he said that that consciousness is awareness plus choice. So let that percolate in. I went, wow, I got to write that one down.
That's great.
Consciousness is awareness plus choice.
Mhm.
Very wise words.
Mm. I'm interested in hearing what is the most profound spiritual insight that you've gained through your practice individually.
Well, for me, the most profound thing has been opening my heart for years and years and years and years, because I didn't start out that way, because of all kinds of things, as we know. And when I discovered, I discovered counseling. I mean, I worked in counseling, I worked in all kinds of things, but when I discovered the energy work, that was the thing that started to open my heart, because I could go into a very deep connection with people, and my heart started to open. So when your heart opens, you have a greater love that you have to give, and that's what happened. And it's continued, and I hope I've got another 10 years or so to do this, because that's the only thing that I really want to do besides my art, which is another heart opening. That's not as easy as the energy work, but
It better be more than 10 years, Denise. You got to be sticking around here for a while with me. Okay. We got some, four of us here, we got some work to do. Okay. We got some work to do. So that's this 10-year crap. You're staying longer than that.
Okay, let's go for 50. But
Pick a bigger number. Tammi, what about yourself?
I agree. It's the opening of the heart. We come to this planet with an open heart, and then we get the condition.
yeah,
So we learn how to get unconditioned. And for me, work isn't work, it's just play. I want to play in this lifetime, and I don't want to work. So I don't, I'll be honest with you, I just don't want to work. So if it's work, then I know I need to go to a healer, because now I'm taking on. So for me, it's about play and seeing the beauty, and just kind of going, okay, there is so much here we're not looking at, because we're focused over here. So every time I work with somebody and we have a heart connection, it just reminds me even more what I love, right? That I can play, I get to play. And that's important to me.
I think that one right there just put us a nail in the coffin on why I came to work with you, because that resonates with me. I don't want to work. Someone says, tell me, Eric, what do you do? Which is basically everybody just trying to find a pecking order of where if you're a brain surgeon and a ditch digger, they can kind of figure out where you're at. So they say, Eric, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, as little as possible.
Thanks.
Right? Like, let's have some fun.
And the question is, I always ask everybody, who are you? And they tell me their identity. And that's not who you are. Who is Eric?
Who is Eric?
Yeah.
Joyful, abundant Viking.
Most people don't. They go, well, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. They used to tell me, who am I? I'm like,
Oh.
I don't know. Just tell me who I am.
Yeah.
And then I can tell people who I am, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's that joyful, playful explorer. This is why I love this theme that's coming through here. We're talking about the ethos of the Viking Academy, the mind, the body, and spirit, and being an explorer and all those things. But it didn't come to me easily. I've had to do the work, right? And not do it on my own. I think that's a big message too. I want to share this with the listeners, is like, this is why I'm working with all three of you, because I want to unburden those layers, and so I can figure out who I am, like why I'm here and what I'm here to do, right? And that's for me my ultimate wish. And so, yeah, again, when you asked me at the beginning, who you are? Oh, I'm Eric Solbakken. I used to be a chartered accountant. Now I'm blah blah blah, and I'm a parent, and I'm in this, and I'm in that, and now I'm just like, and I still don't really know who I am or what I am, but it sure can. I can taste it more some days, right? Especially when I'm around the three of you and I'm talking and we're in this mindset and this energy level. This feels like home to me. Did that make sense? Like when I'm out, I'm going to point backwards, and when I'm out in the real world, quote unquote real world, that's funny.
Yeah.
When I'm out in the heavy world, it doesn't feel light and joyful and fun. It feels scary. It feels heavy. It feels filled with remorse and shame and all the things I should be doing. Like I should on myself all the time. But when we're in this, all of a sudden it's like this lightness. It pops up. Niki, what's the most profound spiritual insight you've gained?
Well, for me, it was falling in love with who I am. Again, apparently I've done it many times in past lifetimes, but it was really finding myself from a spiritual perspective. So I'm more than my physical body, and connecting in with that larger part of me. I feel like I say I bring people back to life, which is love in full expression. And I did that for myself. And that was a really big thing for me because, like Denise talked about, we come in and we got to go through all of our crap too, right? Like it wasn't easy getting to where we are.
Right.
And that helps us do our work so that we can be in service to others.
Yeah.
So that's
And-
it for me.
And you have your book right there behind you for
I
those
do.
who are not watching the video is the self-love.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's my journey, is helping people get back to feeling really loving towards themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's important. That's the heart piece.
Just to kind of land the plane a little bit more for the listener, I would love to hear what practices or habits you would recommend for daily integration for people's spiritual awareness. Like what would you, for the person that's like, well, where do I get started on this? What should I do? Is there any kind of daily practices? Let's split it up into two parts, actually. Let's say, what do you do for yourselves on a daily basis? And what would you recommend to someone who's just starting out their journey? They're just getting started. So maybe we'll start off. What would you recommend to someone just getting started? We'll do that first. And then the second part of the question is, what do you do for yourself on a daily basis? Because again, my experience has been, it changes depend on your perspective on where you're at, right? So,
Well, I'll go for it. Okay.
yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just thinking, like I think meditation is really important, and you can do that in so many ways. You want to put yourself in the zone, basically, is what, to me, what meditation is, so that you can reach deeper levels of your being. And sometimes, like, that's not the same for everybody. I don't mean go sit in a chair and close your eyes and hold your hands the right way. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you find that level of depth out in nature, then do that. Do lots of that. If you find it swimming, do that. If you do find it sitting in a chair and whatever, do that. But find the way that actually brings you into yourself, and you can forget the whole world that's out there and all the things that are going on and all the things you have to do, so that you can get really true with yourself. And you might only start 2 or 3 minutes at a time, but you will find yourself that 40 minutes, 50 minutes will go by if you'll stay with it. That's one of the first things. The other thing I think is journaling is really important. And that's kind of, I have to say, that's kind of one of my, take my advice, I'm not using it, because I journal, and then I'll journal like crazy, and then I won't do it for months, but I think that is the way life works. We're not supposed to do everything, all the time. We're not, if you know that journaling is important, then you know when to journal. So you do that. So that's really important. You were going to say something, Eric?
No, I just love that, because I remember one of the spiritual teachers that I've spent a lot of time watching and listening and reading is Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti has talked about very often, he was supposed to be the new Messiah. That they had identified him at a young age that he was going to be the next coming of Christ or whatever. And then they're like, please tell us your teachings. And he's like, what's the methodology? What's the system? And he goes, there isn't one. Because the minute you do a system, you're instantly conditioning yourself and you've just lost the openness to experiencing life as it is. Right. And so that, I flip flop between that too. I'll do a little practice on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden it'll fall away and I'll should on myself and say, oh, I should be getting back to that. But what you just did is you gave me the freedom and the ability to just not worry about that. Right. You gave me permission to not keep going, because it's actually a good thing. Because if we're doing the same thing all the time, then we get into a mechanical state, and then it negates what we're actually trying to move forward on.
Yeah, if you're listening to yourself inwardly, if you're listening, you know when to do things. And you just know. And it isn't that I have to, I should. It's just you do it. And then you find yourself doing it and think, oh, this is fun. I'm glad I did that. But you just know. Actually, it's kind of like a not knowing in a way. It's kind of, to me anyway, sometimes I'm just surprised I get there and I think, well, I didn't know I needed to do that. Oh, isn't that interesting?
Tammi, you're laughing and smiling. What do you have to say about daily?
I resonate with exactly what Denise says there. It's very much, and I always know if I'm resisting it, it's what I need to do.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, I need to do this, and I'll find 50 different things to do because I know what I need to do. I feel we all know. It's just now taking that responsibility and doing it, right? So moving energy in our body, spending time in nature, getting out of here, getting in our hearts, doing what we love, play, joy, bringing back that little child within ourselves and giving permission to do and not have to all the time. Because it's not all about, we have cycles, right? We have those cycles, and sometimes we're building, and then sometimes we rest. It's not all or nothing anymore. It's the gray, it's the flow.
I love it.
Responsibility is just the ability to respond, period. Yes. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not a have to, should. It's not that. It's just the ability to respond, in my mind.
Niki, what are your daily integration techniques or ideas that you do for yourself, or would you recommend for others?
Yeah, all the things that I do, I would recommend. I eat my own, dog food. That's what I was in IT for a long time, and that's what we used to do, eat your own dog food when we do early stuff. So I would recommend the things that I do. I get grounded every day. I think that's really, really important right now with all of these huge energies coming in and all this stress all around us. Because even if you're disconnecting yourself from the news and not reading the paper, that energy's out there anyway. You're still picking it up and feeling it. So get yourself grounded. The other thing is you can't create anything on this planet if you're not attached to it. So if you're floating, if your energy is lifting in your body and you're floating up here, you can't manifest and bring anything in. Yeah. So get grounded, really, really important.
And how would you recommend people get grounded, just so we can get some more terra firma on that one?
Okay, well, there's lots of different ways to do it. Go out in nature is one way. Put your feet on the ground. Take your shoes and socks off and stick your feet in the dirt. That's one way to do it. You can also just imagine that you've got roots going from your feet down into the very center of the earth. There's grounding foods you can eat, like root vegetables are very grounding. Being in water is really grounding as well. So swimming, taking a bath, if you're feeling kind of chaotic, just go take a bath because it will help to ground your energy. So there's some really simple things you can do there. The other thing that I do that I recommend if people want to create a spiritual connection to be able to sort of access more intuition is to connect with your higher self every day. Just as part of your grounding, it's super simple. You just say it out loud, say it in your head. I always say it out loud. I just invite your higher self to come around you, connect with your energy, and help you to feel that they're there. And you might not feel it right away, but there will come a day, and it won't be too long, where you'll feel your energy field get full and you'll be connected. And that is very heart opening. And it's super easy to do. Super, super easy to do. And then you're working together.
You
Right?
said you feel your energy. Say that again. You feel your
You can
personal.
feel your energy around you get full.
Mhm.
I can feel it when my higher self comes around me every day. I can feel when she comes in, it just feels full in my energy, and it's like tingly. It's like, oh, you're there. How exciting. And then we're working together to create a beautiful day, right? Ask your higher self to help you. That's all you got to do.
That tingle, I know the tingle you're talking about. It's
Mhm.
it's like an energy that's just enveloping, and it's a tingle and a light. You almost feel like I'm lifting out of my body at the same time. Like it's almost a lifting,
You're
a lightness.
expanding.
Oh,
Expansion.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Nikki, because that's the first thing I do before I meditate. Like, and I was so ungrounded for the first half of my life that honestly, I had no clue. And so, but it was interesting that that's exactly what I do before I meditate. And both of those things. And I thought I didn't even think to mention it, but that's the whole point of it. So I'm glad you.
Yeah,
glad you
it
caught
becomes so automatic, right? I ground myself before I get out of bed.
Oh, yes, yes. That's
I
yeah.
love this. There's some actionable steps here for the listener here. I mean, you got meditation and journaling, daily play, getting grounded and connecting with your higher power. Right? Those are really simple. They're simple but not easy, right?
Yeah.
They're simple but not easy for some people. Like it's like it doesn't, but don't it from my experiences, the minute I try and overthink it, probably Tammy's laughing because now I'm in the how and grinding away. And this A-type personality, Nikki knows that one, right? But just keeping it simple and just, it doesn't have to be so complicated.
Stop telling yourself it's not easy. Listen to the story you're telling.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the conditioning. That's the programming. Start listening to what you're saying out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
I listened to all these expressions of, oh yeah, that whatever, that almost killed me. And I thought, would you please stop talking like that? Because your unconscious mind is listening, and it's not discerning whether it's a good or bad thing. It's just listening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pay
So
attention to the stories you're telling.
It's easy, but my mind will sometimes tell me it's hard or it's not. It's hard. It's that conditioning that's doing that, but I don't have to attach myself to that. It is easy. Everything we're talking about is easy,
Mhm.
Yeah.
light and easy.
Right.
So I'm going to get one more question in here. And then what I want to do is I want to switch over to some of the questions that the Viking Academy members have put forward for their specific questions. But what is one lesson from your own personal healing journey that has taught you that you wish you could let everybody else know about? What is one lesson from your own healing journey that you've experienced that you wish everyone else could know about?
Well, for me, it's to listen. It really is just listening. We second guess ourselves. If we would just listen to our own inner voice, we have that connection. And I don't know how many people I've told, it's like, why do we second guess? Because again, it's programming, but it's the whole thing of just going, well, I knew it, but I didn't do it. And it's like, well, start just doing it. Start trusting that, listening. Because there's more to be heard than there is to say.
Beautiful.
If anybody can see my face on the video, I just needed to hear that.
So for me, the message would be that, I'll say it this way, you matter. So I matter, right? That's what I learned, is that I matter. And I don't have to take what's given. I can do what's right for me. So knowing that for your listeners, that every single one of them matters. You're meant to be here. You're not here by accident. So it's a privilege to be here, and you matter. You're here to do something for you and for the world.
That almost sounded like a Viking Academy plug. That was beautiful. Denise.
Well, I'm just thinking, gosh, I think the lesson for me was knowing, like positively knowing that myself and everybody we have so much support in the universal realms. It's unbelievable the things that I have found support in. It's unexplainable. It's the thing that makes life magic to me. It's just magic, I don't know. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is knowing that it's all here, we're all good. And I loved what both of you said too, because learning that I matter. That was really important. And listening. Yeah.
Those were some gems for any of you listening to the podcast. Go back and listen to it again. Okay, let's switch over to some Viking Academy members' questions. So I've got a couple here. So one is Ryan Makowicz. And so Ryan asked me to ask this for you. And I'm going to throw this to the round table. I'm going to let you all take your shot at it and just go crisscross, and however the energy moves you, let's make it happen. So here's Ryan's question. For the past few months, I've been having some nagging lower back and hip flexor issues. I've been in to see physiotherapists, massage therapists, and an osteopath about this. The osteopath made the comment, "Man, your body is just in constant fight or flight." I would like to dig deeper into the why of this and realize and really have no idea why this would be the case. You're going to love this. I have no real traumas or issues I'm dealing with. So where is this coming from? Question mark. Why is my body behaving this way?
Well, it's coming from him. For one thing, it's coming from him. So I think one of the first things he might want to look at is like, what are his concerns right now? Let's not go into stress or how awful it is, but what are his concerns right now? Like, it's his age, his money, his relationship. Is he worried about his kids or his parents or whatever, or the world? Is he picking up mass consciousness? Because that's the other thing that we haven't talked about, is people are picking up mass consciousness like crazy right now. And, all the fear that's going on in the planet and everything, people are absorbing. I've done the last 3 sessions I've done have been, a lot of it had been just releasing the mass consciousness before I got to their own issues. So anyway, what do you guys think?
I want to comment on that. So when he says, I have no real traumas or issues I'm dealing with, so where is this coming from?
I don't believe that.
No, that I know. That's why I kind of highlighted on that. It's like,
Yeah.
It is there. It's just, you're not consciously aware of it. So the action step for him on yours, write out a list of all the things you're thinking about and worrying about in your life. And when people think of trauma, sometimes they're thinking it's got to be this big, horrible thing that happened to me in my past where I was abused or horrible car accident or whatever. My experience so far has been these traumas happen all the time, and they're not big or small. They're just things that have imprinted on me, and they're carrying, or they can actually be present. So you're looking, when you're telling about it's the present thoughts that he's dealing with right now.
Well, not necessarily, because it could be something, he could be in a cycle, like he could be in a Saturn return. He could be in a Saturn opposition. He could be something that's been unresolved 30 years ago, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. It could be a Jupiter thing. The planets are very tight right now. All of the planets are tight right now. And he could be in a cycle that he hasn't resolved from the age of 12 or 15 or 18 and that's highly likely. Anyway, I want to hear from you guys.
Because the body knows. and it
Body
holds
knows.
on, right? The
Absolutely.
body knows. So the
Absolutely.
hips are about moving forward. The hips are about the family lines.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is he not getting support in that lower back? Where
Yeah.
is he fearing maybe money or why I can't move forward? Why is this happening? So he's looking external to me
Mhm.
for answers when he's got to go inward.
Yeah.
And kind of go, okay, well, what does this mean? Right side is to me public side. If his right hip, and when I was in nursing, when my right hip was hurting, it meant I really didn't want to be nursing, right? So didn't want to be there. And then like, because there was a lot of stuff. And then the left side is that intuition, that past. Okay, where in our family, our mother or father lines, haven't we really dealt anything? And then we go into that Saturn return or the Jupiter, okay, my 18-year-old is, there's a layer here that's just now showing up at 50 some years old.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
And I would agree on the hips. It's a really interesting spot to find
Yeah.
this gene because hips also relate to joy.
Yeah.
You can't feel joy. You can have hip problems because they're tight, right? It's also where the root chakra is, which is all about your safety.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, sometimes when the root chakra is too open, you cannot feel safe. So you need to close
Yes.
it down to about 10%. So
Yes.
close that root just by intention. You don't have to do anything special. Just imagine yourself closing it down to 10%.
Yeah.
But also, I would ask, where do you feel unsafe in your life? What areas of your life do you feel unsafe in? And I would also, being a hypnotherapist, say that there may be traumas in the past. And Eric, you're right. It may, somebody saying something to you when you're 5, when you've heard it in 3 little ways before, that's the thing that turns it into this
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that sticks. And then it becomes the conditioning, and you've got this core belief about yourself or whatever that is. So they're there. And it's just willingness to explore that. And, you can use hypnosis to go back. You can journal on it. You can just do a meditation and let it pop up if it's
Yeah.
ready. And so when the unconscious mind represses information, it's because at that age that it occurred, it didn't feel safe or comfortable. You couldn't process it. The unconscious mind knows that. When you get to a point in your life where the unconscious mind says, oh, you can handle this now, up it comes. Sometimes it comes out through physical things. So I would just say be open to exploring that maybe there is something in the past that you need to look at, and just check out where you don't feel safe in your life.
Yeah. Yep.
You have no idea how much I'm enjoying this whole first Odin roundtable. Like I am like vibrating right now. I've been writing so much stuff down. And the listeners, the Viking Academy members, if you're not, again, it may sound like a commercial plug here, but if you're not a member of the Viking Academy, get in there because we're going to do more of these in the future where people can ask their specific questions, and eventually we'll bring them in on the actual Zoom calls. We're going to do that in the future too. That's a plan. So this is great. Okay, so let's get to Julian Gordon. She asked the 2 questions here. The first part is, how can we become better at understanding and taking action on our unique spiritual abilities? How can we become better at understanding and taking action on our unique spiritual abilities?
This,
Was that
that
Denise?
going back to actually I don't know that our spiritual abilities are unique, but because I think they are what they are. But I think it goes back to, as Niki said, grounding, going like it's all about taking time for yourself and knowing that you matter, knowing that you're here for a reason. You may not know what it is, but it will show you if you just stop and stop worrying and stop all the stuff that you do, get off the phone, get off the screen, like all those things, all the distractions that are in the world today. Stop all of that for 20 minutes a day to start with. Stop. And it'll all come true because you know already. You do know. You just don't know that you know.
The irony is not lost on me that this medium that we're doing here is bringing it out into the social media world. We'll call it the video and the audio, and they're listening to this, and we're telling them to stop listening to this. But we all know it's true, right? Like but here's maybe that beacon of hope. It's just like, hey, go outside. Just a reminder, another reminder to go outside.
Yeah. After the podcast is done, though.
Yeah, after the podcast, listen to the entire podcast.
Exactly.
Couple times
So
in
I
a
would
row.
say, I would say you have to get connected first. So if you want to know what it is that you're bringing down as a spiritual gift, you got to get connected first. You got to do some, clearing work first, connected first. And then once you have an idea of what it is, it's figuring out what's holding you back. What's the fear? Why am I stopping myself? So it's becoming really aware. So it's the awareness and how you want to take things out into the world or take them into your life, and you don't have to do it in a huge way. You can do it in it's just for me way, and that's perfectly fine.
And mine was,
sorry, Tammi, go ahead.
no, that's okay. Mine was just getting rid of the how.
Yeah, I
Again.
love that.
Right? Because that's the fear and doubt. So asking why that fear is there. Why am I not able to connect with that unique spirit? Like asking questions without the how.
So the actual verbiage of the question is you can negate the question by changing the question. How can we become better at understanding and taking action? And it's like, why do you want to become better at understanding and taking action on your unique abilities? If you think about the why, then it becomes purposeful and desire and higher vibration, and then it will manifest itself to you. Yes?
Yes.
I love this podcast. Okay. Last question. This one's going to be an interesting one. I'm very curious to see how you answer this. The second question she asked, which I was actually going to ask you as well, but I'm curious on this. Are any of you or your clients using AI to enhance their spiritual journey? And if so, how much? AI has got to be the biggest hot topic and hotbed out there in terms of business and efficiencies and taking away jobs and all the rest of that. I've never seen someone reframe it in a way of using artificial intelligence to help enhance your spiritual journey. So the question is, are any of you or your clients using AI to enhance their spiritual journey?
So I am using AI, but I don't think on my spiritual journey, but I have no clients have ever talked to me about the use of AI for that. Yeah. I use it in business for organizing myself because it's a lot to organize a business, as you know. And so it depends. If you look at my spiritual journey is my work, right? So I guess I am on some respects, right? Because I feel like my work is my spiritual journey. So I am using AI, but not in a spiritual way. It's in more of an administrative content. Tell me if this sounds right way, right? So I haven't gone any further than that.
Yeah, that's how I'm using AI as well. As I'm using it quite a bit in when I'm an abstract painter, so I don't know what I'm doing. I just do, and then I look at it, and then we're supposed to have a title for it if we want to market it and everything else. So a title for the painting, and I look at it and I think I have no idea what am I how am I supposed to? So I use AI for that, absolutely, and it's brilliant, I have to say.
Oh, you take a picture of it and then you ask AI, give me a title.
Yeah. And it'll offer some things, and then it starts, and that's interesting. Yeah, that figures. Because I don't paint things that I can see. I don't paint realistically.
Tammi.
For me, no. The only AI I use is the ones that are not of this world. Okay. Those are the only ones that I channel in and I ask them. Technology and me are not something that I know well. I navigate what I have to do my job, but no, I have no interest in it. And everybody's like, yeah, but you can write things. I'm like, yeah, figure it out. I just don't, yeah, it's just something that I have not yet touched on. I'm not saying I'm not going to, but what I use are beings. So
What I love is when you think about this, the word is called artificial intelligence, which means not real. It's artificial intelligence. And everything that we've talked about on this roundtable has been about connecting to the intelligence which is real, which is inside each one of us, which we have complete access to, which there's an incredible abundance of, and it's here to help you because you matter. But what you need to do is ask and listen to it. That is the intelligence that we're really tapping into here. You can use the artificial intelligence to do, say, the 3D dimensional world stuff, right? It helps us there, but does it help us with our creativity and our imagination and making us feel connected to the world? No. And so, the one thing that AI hasn't been able to do is it's actually trying to catch up to us in terms of our processing ability. And I don't think it ever will, because we are connected to a higher plane, which what all three of you have taught me and shared with me. When we leave this, and so I'm going to do one last little thing here for the Odin's Roundtable, and I've absolutely loved this, is what would be for you individually, what would be a takeaway for yourselves from this session, from Roundtable here? What would be one takeaway that you would get from having this conversation with all of you and going through these questions?
For me, just the joy, real joy and fun of spending time with the three of you. That's the takeaway for me. I feel like, I've never met you ladies, but I'll tell you, it's been lovely to just spend time with you, and it's been great. Because when we have conversations with people that we align with, it's just so much fun. Yeah.
play, right? It's play, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And just like-minded people. So then it brings in a community, right? Having a community to connect with.
Yeah.
Is that your takeaway, Tammi?
My takeaway.
That's your takeaway, the community.
Yeah, and my takeaway is all of those wonderful things, and I feel like I need to make a couple more appointments. Because it's fun. It's the play part for me. Yeah.
And that's, for me, I'm going to add this. I haven't been contributing on the questions per se, but this is my big takeaway, is that I love each and every one of you so much. And I want to do more of these in the future. Let's see what I have a very strong why behind it. I'm going to let the spirit show me the how, which has been this first one. I wasn't sure how this first one was going to go. I did my best, Tammi. I tried really hard not to ask the how. And I did okay, but so far,
fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. But we're going to do more of these in the future. I thank and love each one of you, and let's do this again in the future. Okay.
Great.
Love-
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
all.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Viking Academy podcast. Make sure to leave us your honest feedback by leaving a review on Apple or Spotify, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode.